Happy April 1st. I decided to do 30 days of divine motherhood. I really have been wanting to share, I think since I've had Zuri, my daughter, who's going to be turning 15 on April 5th. And I thought that this would be the perfect month and day to start just sharing a bit about my experience as becoming a mother and growing as a mother and developing my motherly self, stepping into motherhood. So we're going to call this 30 days of divine motherhood. And I'm excited to share with you a few stories that might come to mind as the days go on. And I am feeling very nostalgic. I think I shared that earlier this week. And so I just really wanted to take a moment to just, I don't know, I'm thinking about the times in which I first found out that I was pregnant. I remember there was about 2 years previous to when I found out that I was actually pregnant, that I thought I was pregnant because we weren't trying not to have one, yet I was late and I thought that I was possibly pregnant. And I remember my partner being extremely excited, and yet I was petrified. And I just don't think I was ready. Thank goodness I wasn't pregnant because I wasn't ready. I don't know that you're ever truly ready for motherhood. I'll put that out there as well. I think that you have the process of, it's a practice. Parenthood is a practice. That's what I look at it as, kind of like yoga is a practice. And so we have to, try it on every day, and we have to open our hearts up and allow ourselves to be divinely guided in that process of motherhood. So that's also why I'm calling this divine motherhood. So with that being said, I just wanted to share that after that 2 years that I found out that I wasn't pregnant, I then 2 years later was pregnant. And then my partner, he was freaked out, and I was like, I'm having a baby. So anyway, so I remember finding out that I was having a baby, and oh gosh, the process was amazing. The first few weeks and days and what have you, I will share. I remember when I first found out, he was a little terrified. I don't know that he kind of had switched gears or something on me and was kind of like, oh my God, we're having a baby. And I was really excited. I really loved my pregnant body as it was morphing. And I was very heavily into exercise. I was been a fitness trainer for over 30 years now. So that, and I decided that I was going to stay as fit as I could while I was changing in my body. And I remember that there were several clients that I had been training for several years, and I trained them throughout their pregnancies and throughout several different babies and what have you. And they'd always shared with me about going to Golden Bridge yoga. And at the time I'd heard about Golden Bridge and I'd heard about Kundalini yoga, but I didn't really know anything about it. And the crazy thing is the moment I got pregnant, that's what everyone kept telling me I had to go. So I was in like the first week, I believe it was the first like 5 days or something. And I went and I sat right in the front row in front of Gurmukh, my master teacher, and sat there, and she did this amazing class. It was probably the most marvelous experience I could have ever experienced in all my life. The music, the sounds, the movement of my body, and feeling like I was working out with my baby. It was extraordinary. And I remember at the end of class, she sits in the middle of her seated area, which is kind of on a little stage like, and she offers anyone who would like to come up and speak with her or has any questions, they're welcome to come up and talk to her. And, I'd never been there before, and I just had this extraordinary experience. And I remember going up to her and kneeling down next to her and introducing myself. And the moment I opened my mouth, I burst into tears. I had no idea I would start crying what was I crying about? I did not know. And I'm just talking to her and sharing with her that I'm pregnant and how far along I am and how I'm feeling in my body. She started asking me certain questions and she was just so gentle and so sweet. And I just remember like it was yesterday that I did. I just burst into tears. I think I was just really, I was overwhelmed. I was scared. I was excited. I was overjoyed. And I think all of the movement and the meditation and all of those things just kind of brought all of those emotions up and out of me the moment I opened my mouth. And I just recall that I knew I had to go there as often as I freaking could to her classes because it was like calling to me. And after that first class, I realized that I was like, where has this been all my life? This is where I've needed to be. And I was so grateful for that, that about, what was it, my 34th or 35th week of pregnancy, I took the 200-hour course for prenatal yoga and decided to teach prenatal yoga as part of my fitness curriculum. But not only that, my business at the time was called Mind, Body, Spirit Fitness. So go figure. It was always my concept was to get the body you love, get the body you want by loving the body you're in. So that was always my concept. And just being pregnant, I realized that it was a time in which you wanted to take as best care of your body as you humanly possibly could, even if you hadn't up until that point. I've just realized that it's a time in which you just really want to honor yourself, because part of honoring yourself is honoring your baby and your baby's health and your baby's outcome for when they come to greet us in the world. And so that was the most extraordinary experience. I don't regret it at all, not a moment of it. I know that my daughter Zuri came into this world with such an energy encompassing her because of all the mantras and the sounds and the sound baths and the yoga movement and all of the things that I did during that time. I know that it really built the foundation of who she became in the world. And I will, over this 30 days, be sharing with you the processes of how she's become who she's become, because part of it is allowing and surrendering, just like pregnancy and birthing can be. And it's just really been an extraordinary experience and journey and such an adventure being a mother. And I really, if you haven't become a mom yet, I hope that these lessons will help you along the way. If you are already a mom and maybe you're becoming a second or third or fourth or fifth mom or whichever, hopefully, each process, each pregnancy is entirely different than the first. So it's almost as if you're doing it for the first time each time it happens. So hopefully any of these lessons will help you along the way. And as well, I just want to reach out to even anyone who's thinking about becoming a mother or who is a mom, and maybe you're having challenges or issues as you're trying to figure out who you are outside of just being a mother. And if you're thinking about going back to work or any of these things, I just want to be able to help you along that process. Hopefully this next 30 days, we're in spring, we're springing in. And I just really would love to share my adventures and my experiences in hopes that they will help you along the way and along your journey. So just to start off, this is April 1. And as April 1st, not giving you an April Fool's, I want to give you a true experience through my eyes of motherhood. There's no right or wrong way. There's only your way, the divine guided way, the way that is guided from your heart to your child, because it is yours and your child's journey. And that's the birthing journey, that's the raising the child journey, the whole 9 yards. It's between you and your child. And the best you feel about you, the better you feel about you, the better your child can mirror you, because that's what they do, whether we're doing great as a mother or not so great. We are allowed to make mistakes, and we are allowed to step up and do whatever we can to make those mistakes learning lessons, and to be able to step up and take accountability for those mistakes and say, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect, and I'm still learning, and I'm learning and growing just as you're growing and learning. And this is going to be our adventure together, and I look forward to it. So that's how we really need to go into motherhood in a lot of ways. So I'd like to just share certain journeys. Today, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to talk about, but ultimately the moment of finding out, I could even go into another story really briefly that when I found out, I decided I wanted to have a home birth. And I told my partner, and the first thing he says to me, he says, why can't you just be like normal people? And I'm thinking to myself, well, that to me seems normal, because I'm not ill, I'm not sick. Why should I have to go to the hospital? I'm just not a doctor going person. And I'm not a sick person either. So I guess that's also why I don't generally have to go to the doctor very often. And so I just really wanted to have that experience, that natural experience at home. I'll share more about that, because it was a huge experience at home, and then it ended up being a huge experience at the hospital just the same. So as much as we plan, as much as we put together birthing plans and read as many books and go to many doctors or midwives or whatever we do, it works out the way it's supposed to work out, because it is what? A divine plan. It's not always our plan. It's a divine plan, which makes it a universal consciousness plan that's even bigger and greater than we are. And no matter what, and however it comes out, I have to say also that I know that many of us can end up feeling that we have failed, or that it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. It wasn't our vision in some way, shape, or form. But no matter what, when your baby comes out and is alive and kicking and happy, or making that little first cry, you've done your job and you've done well. So no matter how that transpires, it is meant to grow us no matter which way it goes. So I hope that you will enjoy this journey along with me. I just also utilize this as a moment to honor my daughter, because like I said, her birthday is April 5th and she's going to be turning 15. So you're going to hear these lessons from a veteran mother who's been a mother for 15 years thus far. And if I can make it this far and still be smiling and not losing my hair, I think I'm doing okay. So stick with me. Please join me during this process, and DM me if you have any questions, or any actual questions or topics that you'd like for me to cover, because that could actually help me come up with some of these ideas that I'd like to share with you throughout this time. So thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sat Nam.